And the Word became flesh and dwelt amongst us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. But truth collides against all the lies of this world. Grace collides with hatred, with revenge. So the Word had to become flesh. He had to dwell amongst the Mairasi people on that dinosaur-looking island that's sitting up above Australia, that's shaped kind of like this, and we were living on the Adam's apple with the Mairasi people. And then we had a son. His name was Daniel. But Daniel was not the only Daniel in the village. There was also a crazy old man named Daniel Tavwani. He was mostly demon-possessed, but he was also a bit crazy, and we didn't really like our son Daniel calling him Javisa. That's your closest term in Mairasi. If you share names, you're automatically close. But do we want our son to be close with the guy that would wear a red loincloth, balance a lemon on his head, and another one under his armpit, playing his ukulele as they whirled and twirled and twirled all through this solemn Dutch Reformed service? But we missed the old guy when all of a sudden he disappeared. We kept asking, and no one knew where Daniel Tavwani was. Then July 8th, 1988, all of a sudden there was a faint cry. It was coming from the southern end of the village. We heard, Johnson, 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 eh! So we ran down to the ocean because right there was a boat coming in. And it's very rare that a boat comes in with an outboard motor. And there were 2 soldiers on that boat and a policeman. They were so scared to be in our village that had such a bad reputation that they just wanted to tell their story and get out of there. So they said, well, I know you've been wondering where Daniel Tavwani is. Well, there were 2 young men who thought he was getting too powerful as a shaman, and so they came in 6 weeks ago into his hut, and they dragged him out and put him into a canoe, and they took him out to sea and cut him up into little pieces and tied each piece to a rock and dropped it into the ocean, rinsed out the canoe, hid it on an island, and that's why you haven't seen Daniel Tavwani. And we're out of here. And Frederick Kamakaula, a young Christian, he stood up and he said, no way, dudes, you can't just drop a bombshell like that on us and leave us in inter-tribe warfare. He said, Daniel's daddy and I are going to run to the offended clan, 5K run across the swamp, go across the river, and we're going to calm them down and get them to come, and you guys have to meet us at the Balai Desa this evening. So we had our 5K run. We went running through the swamps and up over the limestone cliffs and down past the place where I had once had to jump over a death adder or a taipan while I was carrying a son on my shoulders. And we got down to the river, and there was one canoe. We got in that canoe and we paddled across. By God's Holy Spirit, he calmed them down. They had been sharpening their machetes. Every muscle was twitching. It was rage like I had never seen rage before, and I hope I never see it again. They were getting ready to pour into their canoes and come across. And Frederick Kamakaula said, you don't need to worry about speaking in Indonesian tonight. Daniel's daddy's going to interpret for you. They agreed to come. So I stood in the middle of this crazy crowd of people, interpreting as the chief warrior said, Ja'anog Janginyos, we demand a peace exchange of a person. And God sent his son to be that peace price.
We hope you enjoyed this message. Biola University offers a variety of biblically centered degree programs, ranging from business to ministry to the arts and sciences. Learn more at biola.edu.